Okay, are we live? I think we're live now. If everyone can just give me a thumbs up to let me know if you can see and hear me, that'd be great. So, yeah, sorry, I'm just running a few minutes late, but whenever I'm setting up for these things, it's always like just a flurry of activity the last couple minutes. But anyway, hope you all are doing great. And I just want to let you guys know too, before we get into this, you'll see down here that if you're not listening to my podcast yet, you should be listening to my podcast. It's out every week. And in case you're wondering if it's just a rehash of what we talk about on the YouTube channel, it is not. It's kind of started out that way, to be honest with you. But what I've got going now is something more. So, like every other episode, I've got an expert guest filling in my gaps because I don't know everything about everything. So, just to let you know, upcoming, we've got an episode about using TikTok for business, which I'm really excited for you guys to hear that one. My guest was pretty amazing, and how to use Pinterest for business, even if you don't think Pinterest is a natural fit for your business. So, these are just a few of the topics. So, go ahead and just look it up on whatever you listen to podcasts with. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, we're on there, and also on Google Podcasts. So give it a listen. All right, so where's everybody coming in from today? I want to see, drop it in the chat here. We've got Tony from Kuala Lumpur. That's awesome. From Malaysia. Hey, Ryder, thanks for that. What do we got here? All right, cool. Hey, Mars. Hey, Cutie Tiff, what's going on? Santa Fe, New Mexico, nice. We got people from all over here. Trinidad, Uruguay, oh my gosh. Jamaica, okay, this is like, we're really international here. This is pretty cool. Michigan, there we go. Less international, a little closer to me. San Diego, beautiful. That's where I want to end up someday, Candace. All right, cool. So, Metro Atlanta, nice. Welcome, Phil. And then we've got Brazil. I want to go to Brazil so bad. That's like definitely on my list of places. Hold on, I'm going to mute this. It's a little, there we go. So you guys don't have to hear all the beeping. Connecticut, London, love London too. Australia, perfect. So welcome everybody from all around the world. So if you've got a question, go ahead and pop it into the chat right now. And my community manager, Floyden, is in the chat, and she's going to be putting those into my little document for me. So yeah, just one thing off the bat. Last time around, we were getting a lot of questions about kind of how do I work with my clients? How do I charge for Facebook ads and stuff? Those are not the kinds of questions we're going to be getting to today. We may be able to get to them later on at the back of this show, but for now, we're going to be focusing on questions from small business owners who are really trying to kind of do this themselves more than anything. So if you've got a question like that, you can pop it in the chat, and then Floyd will just put it in the back of the document. So if we have extra time, we'll get to that. Oh, Adam's from Chicago. Hey, Adam, same here. I'm just about a 10-minute walk to Wrigley Field that way. So not sure where you're at. All right, so do we have any questions? I'm not seeing any questions in here yet. And this is normally here we go. From Ryder, is there one of the social platforms that's worth spending more energy in than the others? So, okay, social platforms, honestly, and this is something that I'm going to be implementing very quickly. Little preview for that Pinterest episode that I just brought up for the podcast. The girl Kara Chase, who I had on, she really got my interest peaked in using Pinterest. She made a very airtight case for it. Basically, it's kind of like YouTube in that it's more of a search engine than a social media. People think of YouTube and Pinterest as social media. They're much more used as search engines. And if you put stuff on the right way and you're smart about it, these things can live on forever. These pins can live on forever. And you don't have to do a whole lot of extra work to do it. And she basically said that 80% of her web traffic comes right from Pinterest, and it doesn't take her much effort to create all these things. So I'm going to say Pinterest is probably a great thing to do as long as people are searching for your topic on there. Otherwise, social media, Facebook, I don't love Facebook organic in terms of social media. I love Facebook ads, but I think you're asking more about organic stuff. So at the end of the day, Ryder, what I want you to focus on is content marketing, okay? putting out great content, and I know you've heard this a million times before for me too, but if you put out great blogs or better yet, podcasts or videos, people are going to come to associate you as being an expert in your topic. So the more you can create that kind of content and then push it out onto your social platforms, that's going to be your best bet. So what I do, just to let you know, so I obviously on YouTube started the podcast, and then those two things I push them out in my email list and on LinkedIn, also on Instagram. So it takes a while for these things to build, but it's content you've already created, so it doesn't take a whole lot of bandwidth just to promote them on those formats. So hopefully that gives you something to think about. All right. I'm not seeing any. Floyd, are you popping questions into the doc? I'm not seeing anything yet. I don't know if it's just not refreshing or what. So let's see. I'm just going to go into the chat here, which takes a little longer. So let's see. So Kevin Joseph, hey Kevin, says, how do you find the speed of Elementor Pro? How do you find the speed? I think you're just referring to how do I find it? Okay, yeah. It's not bad. Honestly, I've never done like specific tests about this. I'm not that like hardcore tester guy. I know a lot of people, but I've seen on YouTube other people doing actual tests where they show a before and after. So there's basically a WordPress website without it, and then the same page with Elementor Pro and basically the same content, and it was pretty much identical. So there are definitely things you can do with Elementor Pro that might slow down your page by putting crazy large images, that kind of thing, or a lot of extra widgets that you don't need. But in general, it's pretty lean. So I think that you're fine as long as you're using it smartly. All right. So next we have from Jimmy Flannery. I have a Shopify store. I want to do a Facebook ad for a light product, and I'm not really sure what to say in the ad. So, okay, several things here. It's really important to understand for Facebook ads. Well, first of all, disclaimer, you guys, if you've been watching me, you already know this. I'm not the e-commerce guy. So my advice in terms of Facebook ads for products is not coming from the best, I don't have a whole lot of experience with that. I deal with people who sell services or, digital learning products, that kind of thing. So if you're selling like a product, let's just say, I don't know, a flashlight or something, there's basically a dollar amount that's, if you're under that dollar amount, you can probably just send ad traffic right to it. But if it's above a certain threshold, Facebook ads aren't going to be great in terms of cold traffic. You really have to think about getting people with content marketing first, and then you retarget them with your ad. So what I would recommend is whatever your topic is. Can you drop this in the chat, Jimmy? Let me know what your product is, and then Floyden can add it to the chat here into my document, and I can give you a better answer a little later. Let's get back to you there. All right, cool. So yeah, it's basically going to be all about having some kind of video where you're talking about the overall topic or maybe a review of it or something. And then afterwards, then you hit you retarget those people with more of a, direct response, direct sales ad from there. And in terms of what you say, think about what the objections are people are going to have. And it, depends on the product. Again, if it's sunglasses, it's not like people are going to have a lot of objections. They just want to see that they look cool, right? They want to see them on a model. So I do need to kind of know what it is you're talking about to really help you. So drop that in. All right. So next up we have from Jimmy Flannery. Hey, Jimmy. That's the one we just did. Next we have Patrick Hall. People spamming keywords in Google. Okay. People are spamming keywords in Google, and Google's not taking info, correcting the problem. Yeah, I mean, I would stay in your lane, Patrick. You can't, if Google's not going to do that, you can't really do much about it. So if other people are going to spam Google, just do the best you can. That's really all I can tell you. All right, from Safiwa, I'm probably definitely butchering that name, but she says, I have a new website, but don't have testimonials yet. What should I do? Great question. Testimonials are the most important thing for a lot of different businesses. if you don't have testimonials yet, what you definitely want to do is reach out to people right after they've bought from you or you've helped them. This is when they're going to be most responsive to giving you a positive review. So what I like to do is basically, it depends on the volume, right? If you're dealing with a lot of customers at once and you don't really have that personal touch with them, just send out an email after the purchase saying, "Hey, I'd love to know how your purchase went." And then they rate it. They basically give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. And then whatever they choose, like let's say they click on thumbs up, then they get another message telling them, "Hey, we'd love to hear all about your experience." And it links them to Google reviews or Yelp or whatever you want to get reviews from. If they do a thumbs down, the next message is, "We're sorry to hear that. We want to make it right. Please let us know what we can do." So basically, the thumbs up, you're sending it out to be seen to the world. The thumbs down, you're handling it internally. So just ask them right afterwards what they to share their story with you. And then if you've got like a brick and mortar store, people are coming in, have it displayed, like hand people cards. Like you're not really allowed to incentivize the reviews, but you can let them know it would really help your business out, that kind of thing. So at the end of the day, most people are not going to leave a review, so it's a numbers game. You just have to do the best with what you got. Okay, so let's see. Okay, this document's finally populating now. But I'll just go from the chat for now. All right, Susan Harper says, "What's the best way to share a lead magnet on LinkedIn?" Yeah, basically, I would probably do video, Susan. What I would do is I would create just a video talking about the lead magnet and talking about the problem it solves. So the crux of the video is not going to be, "Hey, download my lead magnet." It's all about addressing the problem that you're going to solve with the lead magnet. And then you just talk about that problem. You give maybe one or two tips for dealing with it and say, if you want to know even more and how to solve this problem, I've got a lead magnet underneath this video. Download it there. And this is important too. Something I recently discovered with LinkedIn. You don't want to leave a link in the description. So, when you put in your description, you put in the text and the video, you don't want to put the link in there. You want to put the link in the first comment. So you do it and then you add the comment. And that's where you're going to drive people to click. So that's what I would do. Video gets more attention there just because most people aren't doing video on LinkedIn. And if you want to do live video, more power to you. I mean, it's it's not for the faint of heart. It certainly took me a few tries to get the hang of it, but and you'd have to come up with multiple topics that way too. But I'd love to see you try video, Susan. Okay, so now we've got the document here. So this one is from Cutie Tiff Tiff. I love that. "I have a product, but it sells best when shown in a video. I get a lot of visits to my website, but I'm not getting them past my homepage." Okay, a lot of visits to the website, but not going past the homepage. Okay. Other question is, would it make sense to get people to follow my Instagram so that I can use that platform to warm up my cold audiences to making a purchase? Okay, so I'm not sure what your first question was. You said you get a lot of visits to your website, but I guess the question is, how do you get them past the homepage? Answer to that is, maybe you don't need to get them past the homepage. There's a lot of talk about bounce rates, and you want to get people further into your website. I actually take an opposing view to that. There's nothing wrong with getting people to look at other pages of your website, but I like to design a homepage to kind of tell the whole story. So you can basically take them down from top to bottom, giving them all the information they need, start to finish, so they can either say, "Yes, this sounds good," or "No, just let me think about it." So what I would do is, this is definitely a case for having a lead magnet. Instagram is great for getting that traffic. We use hashtags and that kind of thing, drive people to your link in your bio to your website. But that's only going to get you so far. Then once they're on your website, you want to further that relationship. So you say you have a product. So what does your product do? What problem does it solve? Create a lead magnet, whether it's a guide or a checklist or a swipe file, a challenge. Those are really cool too. A quiz, anything like that gets people on your email list. Then you can start giving them a little bit more content over a period of a few weeks. So that's what I would do there. And yeah, Instagram is good, but don't sleep on Pinterest either. So stay tuned for that podcast episode. I'm really excited for you guys to hear it because it's literally changed my whole thinking about what Pinterest is. So, all right. Next up, we have from Roger Matthews. Hey, Roger. Have you ever compared Elementor to Divi, and why do you like one over another? Yeah, so it's kind of apples and oranges, Roger, because Divi is a theme. It's not so much of a page builder. I've used Divi in the past. I don't like it. Like as a non-coder or like a non-techie person that I am, I've never loved dealing with a theme. Like as a page builder, I find it to be very clunky. It was never that intuitive for me. Elementor and Elementor Pro, that is a page builder. You have to use it with a theme, a free theme. There's one called, it's just called Hello Elementor. It's by the same people that did Elementor, so of course it works right out of the box with it. So what I love about Elementor and Pro is it comes with these predefined blocks that you basically just stack in the right order to serve your content, and then you customize everything. You know, your own images, your own fonts, your own colors, your own backgrounds. You can do video backgrounds. You can add testimony. You can do everything you can possibly think of. Especially when you consider all the extra add-on widgets that you can purchase, but you generally don't have to do that. You know, I want to side note here, you know, people get so caught up in like what's cool and they look at another website that has a really slick look to it and like something cool going on and they desperately want that for themselves. But I would encourage those people to step back and say, do you really need that thing? Is that really going to get you any more customers at the end of the day? And if the answer is no, then just build like a really cool website with what you've got in Elementor and it's going to be good. So that's why I like Elementor. It's really intuitive. You just drag and drop and customize. And this non-techie guy right here was able to master it within an hour. So if that tells you anything. All right. Next we have from Konstantinos. Hey, Konstantinos. Which is the best amount for ad in Instagram and for how many days, amount versus days of ads? So I think you're asking how much should you be spending and for how many days? So first of all, easy question, number of days. I don't I don't usually do an ad on Instagram and say I'm going to run this ad for 7 days. I just put it up because here's the thing about Facebook and Instagram ads, which they're the same thing, by the way, same company, obviously. They take a few days to for the algorithm to learn what's working and what's not working. So you don't generally want to leave it for just a short amount of time. They get better over time. Eventually, they will fatigue. You know, if you've got the same ad running for months and everyone has seen it, you know, 17 times already, probably time to freshen it up with a new ad in there. But I don't generally start them thinking I'm going to run this for 7 days or for 5 days. In terms of amount, now this is going to be different. It's basically what can you afford to spend? What can you afford to test with? Because again, a lot of ads, they're not going to be high performers right away. You've got to test them. So if you can spend $5 a day and that's all you can do, that's fine. You know, especially if you're a local business. Here's what I'll say, like, because I hate that it depends answer. But if you're a local business, you can probably get away with $5 or $10 a day, and that'll be good. But if you're more national or worldwide, the more money you can spend, the bigger audience you're going to get, assuming you can get in front of a big audience. You know, depends on how niche you are. So let's say you can get in front of a 2 million person audience, you know, then kind of the more you can spend, the better results you may get as long as you have a highly performing ad. So you definitely want to test, make sure you've got a winning ad, then you want to scale it up. And the way you do that is you don't just increase the budget because then that throws everything out of whack. You have to duplicate that ad with the new budget. That's generally how it works best. So yeah, I'd say start with $10 a day, see what that does. And then if you put $10 in, you get $20 out, then why wouldn't you want to scale that up, right? Okay, cool. Next one is from Dario Arnez. Hey, Dario, does it help for traffic to install Google Tag Manager? Yeah, probably. And this is one of those things that I'm kind of like Google Tag Manager is a little nebulous to me. Like I don't really do a lot of work with that. So I think it. I mean, it definitely could help, but it's definitely a more advanced maneuver for sure. Okay, from Adam. Long story short, New Jersey business website up for 3 weeks, 5 website views per day. How can I get the most out of my marketing budget? Okay, your website's new. You get 5 website views per day. Yeah, so I would say you want to get the lead magnet going, something that's going to entice email signups. Then you're going to want to advertise that on Facebook ads or Instagram ads. You can do both of those, possibly Pinterest, like we talked about. But with Pinterest, you pretty much have to have content that you're sending that to. So I would say choose your own adventure here. Either you want to do pure paid traffic, which in the beginning you kind of have to do because content marketing, while the number one thing I recommend to do, like there's no substitute for good content marketing, but it's not an overnight thing, whereas paid ads, you turn them on and then, tomorrow or 3 days from now, you're getting traffic. So I would say get a lead magnet that solves a problem, a real problem, and then you're going to advertise that on Facebook. So that's what I would do. And I don't know what it is that you sell or what service you provide, but generally speaking, there is a lead magnet that can work for just about anything. All right. From Christopher Nielsen. Hey, Christopher. What do you think about recording visitors on your website using services like Hotjar or others? Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, Hotjar is basically like a heat mapping tool where let's say you get, someone's on your website right now. It basically records their journey, and it records like things that they're clicking on and where they're going and how long they're spending on certain sections, which gives you a lot of data to go off of. Like, when are we losing people? What are we saying on the page that people, when are they just jumping ship? And it lets you tweak things to be more persuasive. So I do think that there is a lot of upside to doing that. I think it only helps if you have a certain number of visitors, because these things, you have to have a what's the word I'm looking for? Like, there has to be enough people who are doing it to be statistically relevant. That's what I'm trying to say. If you just have like 5 people a day or whatever, it's probably not going to do much, but probably worth doing. And I got to be honest with you, I've never actually done it. So, but I would look on YouTube for things like Hotjar, look at it for a tutorial, see how other people are using it. But I do think if things are going wrong and your conversions aren't as good as they can, and you think you're doing everything right, that's probably a good thing to do, just to test where people are. Oh, another funny thing too, there's a website called, God, I'm blanking on it. It's called like something about, can my mother use it or understand? It's basically some guy, his like 70-year-old mother, you pay, and this 70-year-old mother will get on your website and they'll record it. The idea being that someone who's not tech savvy and doesn't know a lot about websites, how does that person react to your website? So something, and I wish I remember the name of it, but yeah, I'll look for it after. All right. Filtration Energy Solution says, what's the best strategy for using the website to market to LinkedIn clients? To market to LinkedIn clients. I'm not exactly sure what that means. But yeah, if you can specify that, that'd be helpful. All right. So Mars Melgar says, for an electrical store, is this structure correct? Hero section with transparency and minimalist header. Benefit, best products, products categories, testimony. Okay, hold on. Let me just, because it's going to be hard for people to picture this in their head. So what I would say is, yeah, you have the hero section up top, followed by, I like to show the benefits that you're going to get from work. Actually, before the benefits, we want to have a short section, what I call the problem solution section. So you're going to outline the problem that they're experiencing, whatever that is, and then how you guys solve it. So it's basically a little way of giving in your credibility, like we've helped hundreds of customers get the right electrical needs for them, whatever that is. Then 3 benefits, followed by service or product categories, because it sounds like you're e-commerce. So I would do product categories, testimonials, team section. Not super important for the homepage, to be honest with you. I don't think anyone going to an electrical store needs to read about all the people that work in your store. So that can be on its own page, and I'd probably put that in the footer. And then the footer goes after that. Yeah, sounds good. All right, from Asaf Elgin, how would you recommend for SEO and Google My Business accounts? Do you provide the service? I do not provide any services anymore, Asaf. I only do consulting by the hour as well as my paid programs. So, but I'm not understanding the question. How would you recommend for SEO? I mean, yeah, I don't understand the question. If you can specify, that'd be great. All right. Hilariously says, what length would you recommend for Facebook video ads or YouTube ads? So yeah, Facebook ads, people are not going to watch for very long on Facebook. Oh, hold on, lost you guys. Hold up. There we go. All right. All right. So people don't watch those for very long. So I would say if you can keep their attention for about 2 minutes, that's awesome on Facebook. And YouTube ads, same. I would say go for actually, like you can go as low as 30 seconds. But for YouTube ads, this is important. You want it to be longer than 30 seconds, even if it's just a little bit, because with YouTube ads, if it's over 30 seconds and they watch for under 30 seconds, you don't pay for that at all. But if it's only 30 seconds, they're going to start charging you when you reach half. So once they get to 15 seconds, you're charged for it. So I would try to make your YouTube ad at least 1 minute. It doesn't need to be that much longer. And then for Facebook, same thing. But again, for the Facebook ads, I say ads in quotes because what I like to see for the first touch, for the cold traffic, doesn't really feel like an ad at all. It's content. It's giving 3 tips. It's giving just advice for free, basically. So yeah, they shouldn't be very long. All right. From Mike Sacco, for Google My Business ads, have you tested smart ads versus managing your own keywords and bidding? Which is better? Yeah. So smart ads, it's basically like I refer to that and like boosting a post on Facebook as like ads with training wheels. And that's not meant to be derogatory. It just means it's the easy way for people to get up and running, but they don't generally work that well. So I definitely like to manage your own ads and learn enough to where you can know enough about it to just kind of get in there and do it. And at a certain point, you're going to want someone probably to run them for you, unless you want to spend the time doing it. But it's definitely best to go in and tweak certain things to really perform the best. Getting the keywords in there, getting the negative keywords in there, writing your headline and your description in such a way that repels the wrong people and pulls in the right people. That's really important too. And I think with the smart ads, a lot of this stuff is just kind of pre-populated for you in a way that, when people say ads don't work for me, that's generally why, is because they're going with those pre-done for you solutions that don't have a lot of nuance behind them. So, all right. Moving right along to Timebox Moments in Media. I'm launching a new business with 0 email list and building it from scratch. I have 2 lead magnets ready. I have 2 lead magnets ready and a simple WordPress site. Without subscribers yet, how do I get eyes on my options? Okay, no email list from scratch, 2 lead magnets. Okay, so yeah, I've touched on this earlier in this video. What I'd want you to do is start basically promoting those lead magnets on Facebook ads or Instagram ads. And the way to do this even better, to kick it up a notch, is just start with that content ad. The video giving, so basically, what is the topic of your lead magnet? You said you have 2, so maybe you make 2 entry points here. You have this series of ads and this series of ads. So in each one, talk about the overall problem you're solving, give one really good tip, and say, for more, here's the lead magnet. Easy as that. And then when anyone who watches like even just 3 seconds of that ad, you want to retarget them with a more just direct download the lead magnet kind of ad. So that's how I recommend doing that. All right. From Tay Dene. I'm probably butchering your name as well. Sorry about that. Oh, Toy. Okay, here we go. Toy from Maryland. I'm a new business and I'm trying to grow for a business, face masks, and t shirts. What do you suggest I use to collect email information? So for a business, you're selling face masks and t-shirts. Is that correct? In that case, I don't know. Again, I don't know much about e-commerce, but I would say this is one of those cases where a lead magnet and kind of just building your email list isn't going to be as important. It's more about just having nice designs and selling them straight out of the gate. This is like the one time I'll tell you you could probably just sell it directly. I can't imagine a lead magnet that's going to be that's going to go with selling t-shirts, in other words. So unless I'm getting that wrong in your question, if I missed the point of your question, if that's the case, let me know, and we'll try to get to it later. All right. So from Patrick Hall, sorry, we've got another one from Toy. I want to get to that. What apps do you recommend? Well, for lead magnets, again, I don't recommend lead magnets for you. What is your strategy for hashtags? Cool, I've actually got a whole video on that. So just type in my channel, Instagram hashtag strategy, you'll find it. It's just from a high level view, what you want to do is get hashtags. So you're allowed to have 30 of them in a standard post. So you want to basically split those between easy, like low competition hashtags, medium competition, and high competition. So you're going to want to use a tool like I use flick.tech. That's the tool I use that lays them out really nicely for the level of difficulty for all of them. And then just start picking ones that show kind of buyer intent or search intent, and then grab like an equal number of them from all of them. Maybe fewer from the difficult ones, but get at least 5 from the difficult, because what this does is the difficult ones, if you post it right away, if the second you post it, someone's searching on that, you may come up in the recent ones right away. Then you'll quickly get pushed down, but you might get some quick traffic right now. The medium difficulty ones, you may hang around for a couple minutes. Then the easy ones, there's not a lot of search volume necessarily, but the people that do search for those, you'll hang around much longer. So I like to have them from all 3 buckets. All right, from Patrick Hall. Okay, people spamming keywords in Google reported to Google and they've not acted. Yeah, we've already went over this, Patrick. I mean, I have nothing to tell you to do. Google's gonna do what Google does. All you can do is not be spammy and do what you can do. All right. So from Provo Roofer, what's the best way to get your Google My Business listing to show up in multiple cities, that and close to the location? All right. So this is one that I have a whole video about it. Unfortunately, that's not really going to work very well unless you have multiple locations. So if you have multiple locations, great. And I'm not going to tell you to get, mailboxes in different locations, because Google's kind of onto that. What you can do, if you've got the budget for it, is rent office space, even if it's like a 1-room little janitor's closet kind of office. Rent them around your service areas, in the places where people are searching, if you have the budget for it. If not, and you just have one, here's the thing. You can do all the things that I teach you to do, but all that's going to really do is give you a leg up if all other things are equal. But proximity is still the number one factor. So I'm just going to use, again, I go to, like, I'm in Chicago. Naperville is a big suburb about 45 minutes away. If I live out there and my business is out there, but I want to get jobs in Chicago, I can't really put my address in Naperville and hope to rank in Chicago. People in Chicago are just going to outrank me there. So yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do there, unfortunately, other than getting those locations closer to where you want to be. All right, from Zaim Atif, can science and technology blog website get a hit? I'm not sure what you're asking there, Zaim. If you can clarify that, I can get to it a little bit later. Zimertov, I think is saying, hold on, It says, "Hi, I'm selling on Shopify a DIY products, and I'm looking for an idea for Facebook retargeting." Yeah, so if they're DIY products, I would definitely recommend what I talked about earlier for the Facebook funnel, which is giving them free content, a video solving the problem, like 3 tips, and then you retarget those video views with a direct response ad. I like to see then retargeting with a lead magnet, and then you get them on your email list, and then you retarget them with even more direct sales ads. Long story short, it's a lot of different ads, a lot of layers, but that's what works the best. As long as you're selling, it sounds like you're selling like an e-learning product. You said DIY product. So when it's DIY, you're teaching them how to do something. So it's perfect for that. All right. From Jocelyn from Manila, Philippines. Welcome. I'm trying to sell my herbal products through Facebook ads. What's the best strategy to get more customers to buy my products? Yeah, again, I don't do too much e-commerce, so I'm going to probably table all the e-commerce questions at this point, unless it's something I can answer. I've already kind of touched on that a little bit, so going to table those for now. So, all right. Next is from McDonald. I want to add product videos on my Shopify website, but this can slow things down considerably. How can I implement lazy load scripting so my website loads quickly? Okay, yeah, so lazy load, if you're unaware, that's the thing where you're on a website and you start noticing as you scroll down, more things start populating right underneath the surface. So which plugin do I use for that? I think I use Smush for that. So it's called Smush, SMUSH, and I think the W3 Total Cache, CACHE plugin does that as well. So yeah, it's a great thing to do to save on bandwidth and for that perceived load time, because what you don't want is people coming to your website and it's loading a bunch of stuff below the surface that they're not seeing anyway. You want all that loading speed to just be right up top. So even if it takes a long time for your whole site to load, the visitor doesn't feel any of that, and everything loads really quickly as soon as they get there. So lazy loading is awesome for that. All right, from Toy, I think this is a follow-up to that question. What is your take on me doing Instagram carousel ads for my mask and t-shirt business? My content will be about educating people on the best masks to purchase, and my civil rights, Black Lives Matter. Okay, my shirts are civil rights, Black Lives Matter. Okay, so take on me doing Instagram carousel ads. I love carousel ads, actually. They're kind of my new favorite thing. So I think that's great. And I think that's great for products particularly. It's also great for testimonials. So if you've got 3 different testimonials or testimonial videos, that's perfect. But yeah, so you actually do then, I stand corrected, with your causes, there's definitely something good to be said for a lead magnet. So what I'd probably do is maybe have some kind of a, like, I don't remember if you asked me what kind of lead magnet you should have. I don't remember what your original question was, but I think you could definitely do some kind of a lead magnet about, the civil right, like what can you do to be a better ally or something, whatever it is. You probably already have it worked out what the lead magnet is, and then you have people on your list, and now you can keep getting in front of them with your email list about different things they can do. A challenge might be great for you, actually, like a 5 days to becoming a better ally or something like that. And then every day it's a new little thing, a new little teachable moment. And then at the end of it, you can kind of start selling your product. So I think that could work out really nice. All right. From CT, I'd like to add my business's profile video in our homepage, but will it affect the page load when visitors come to our website? I love this question because visitors might go away. Yeah, okay. So the good news is not really, like a little bit, but here's the thing. You don't want to actually have your video on your hosting, if that makes sense. You don't want your website server to have to call up that video each time because that will take a long time. What you want is to embed it onto YouTube or Vimeo, but honestly, YouTube is better all day long because you get extra SEO benefits from that. So does it take any extra time to call it up from YouTube? a little bit. I like to think it's negligible, and it's certainly worth that time because video is huge and it's great for SEO too. Like I said, so that's how I would do it, and you should be good to go. All right, from Kelly Renero. Hello from Texas. Hello, Texas. Do you have a step-by-step video on how to make a bridge to have an ad? Make a bridge to have an ad on Facebook. I wanted to get into affiliate marketing on Facebook and having a hard time learning the landing page or bridge. Yeah, you know what, Kelly? I do not know affiliate marketing, and there's plenty of people on YouTube that do. So I would probably go on YouTube and look up affiliate marketing Facebook ads. Because honestly, I'm not even familiar with that term bridge. If I'm being honest with you, that might be an affiliate marketing thing. So yeah, I think I would probably send you to someone else to learn that specifically. I'm sorry. All right, from Chris Lawrence, wondering if you think our company website looks best for conversion. Yeah, I'm not reviewing websites today, Chris, but I'll probably do that again in a month. So stay tuned for that. All right, some Dario Arnez says, if you want to offer e-commerce to a client, what is your best platform? WooCommerce, e-commerce to a client. Okay, so I, again, don't do e-commerce, so I couldn't even tell you. Sorry about that. Another from Christopher Nielsen. Do you have any tools to recommend for A/B testing? I'm currently considering setting up a secondary landing page and direct half of the Google ad traffic to it. Is there a better way? There's definitely plugins for this, but if you're doing Google ads, the A/B testing comes in right from that. Like you just make two different pages and then you just specify this ad is going to this page and this ad is going to this page. So there's definitely WordPress plugins. I'm blanking on the names of any of them. To be honest with you, I don't do a lot of A/B testing with that kind of stuff. I basically try to just get everything dialed in by the conversion, the principles that I know and that I teach. And then, if anything goes wrong, I just kind of test one thing at a time. I don't generally have two pages going at any given time. So sorry about that. All right, from Arvind Sharma. Is it important when I change HTTP to HTTPS, submit again in Webmaster? No, I don't generally do that. I just, so we're referring to a security certificate. I just changed that. And then, well, actually, now that I think about it, because I've got a developer who does that stuff for me, I don't know if he does that or not. You're asking the wrong guy. I'm not techie. So, yeah, I definitely, I would maybe ask someone who knows more about that than I do. Sorry about that. So I feel like we're getting to the end and I'm being stumped by all these questions. So hopefully I'll get one that I can answer in a bit. Sekia Skincare. When I search my keyword in Google, there's a small, on phone or tablet, there's a small area midway down the first page called Search by Images. All my competitors are showing in it, but mine isn't. I've already added alt text, file name, and even geotagging. Do I need to do anything specific to start showing in that? It sounds like you're already doing what you need to be doing for that. I would assume, though, that maybe their SEO on their page is a little better than yours because all that stuff that works for SEO kind of also works for all the other elements as well, by being found by images, videos, as well as in the map pack. So, maybe they're outdoing you in terms of backlinks and stuff, but I would have to ask, put yourself in the mindset of the person searching there. Is that going to do you any good to show up there? I don't know. Maybe it will, maybe it won't, but I don't think I can't imagine a scenario, at least in my business, where I'd want to be found in the images section. I don't know. Maybe only you can answer that, but I think you just need to do everything else that works for good SEO to be found there as well. All right. From Cosmin, I was thinking to write the essential pages text and at least 70 to 90 posts before creating the blog in order to automate the publishing of the posts daily on both blog and social media. Then spend time to analyze and optimize the posts, maybe even advertise after 1 or 2 months of daily publishing. Okay. A lot to say about this. So, it sounds like you're trying to start a blog for content marketing purposes. you don't need to start with 70 to 90 posts before you go live. That's a lot. I would so much rather see you put in the time to make 10 what we call epic blog posts than, because I'm imagining, and forgive me if I'm wrong, if you're thinking of 70 to 90 posts, I'm imagining very little effort is going to be put into each of them. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I know how people tend to approach these things. They're just like, I'm just going to go for all the keywords. And then you read the blog posts and they kind of read like, no, like they're not really going to keep anyone interested. So what I would rather see you do is write 10 really good pillar posts that cover one of your topics very well, then ancillary posts off of those that kind of go into more detail about a certain topic. So I have a recent video all about, it's basically about how long should a blog post be for SEO, and it goes into the 3 types of posts you want to be creating. The pillar posts need to be a certain length, and then the keyword posts need to be, they can be a little shorter, but they basically, so I think the example I used in that video was, let's say you're a lawn care company and you want to have one pillar post all about lawn care, one all about tree care, one about flowers and planting and that kind of thing. And then within lawn care, you might have a post that links to that that's all about fertilizer, one all about the best lawnmowers. So it's like you're getting it from all these different angles. I'd rather see you do that approach, to be honest with you. And then let me get to the rest of the question. And then automate the publishing of the posts daily on both blog and social media. I don't really understand what you're saying there, but okay. Then spend time to analyze and optimize the posts, maybe and advertise after 1 or 2 months of daily publishing. Okay, so here's the thing. What you can do is just, you can create those 10, or not even 10, it can be 3 to start off with. Then you would use Facebook or Instagram ads to get people to those epic blog posts, those pillar posts. Then once they're on your site, then you can retarget those people with whatever it is you're selling or services. I don't know what you do, but that's what I would do. It sounds like you're doing a lot of extra work. Do a little bit of work, test it, see how it goes, and then keep going over time. All right? Okay. From Liz, somehow my Instagram only attracts my competitors and not my niche market. Might this be because my hashtag strategy needs work, or because competitors are just creeping my work? Probably both. So that's interesting. So I understand what you mean, because there's always going to be a certain amount of creeping on your competition. That always happens. But I'll say with hashtags, this is something that I had to get. So I have a project manager who's handling my Instagram right now, and he's looking at the hashtags. And I went in there and I'm like, okay, these hashtags aren't going to work, because he was using hashtags like digital marketer, right? I guarantee you no one that I want to attract that's going to maybe buy my course or something is searching for digital marketer and hashtags. They're probably searching for digital marketing or digital marketing tips, small business tips, but they're not going to be searching on, Facebook ad agency, right? The Facebook ad agencies are using those hashtags, but no one's searching for them. So does that make sense? Does that help you in any way? Just make sure the hashtags you're using are things that that your customers are searching on, not that your competition are using, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. From Abdul Masum, how do I verify Google My Business outside of my own city? Yeah, I talked about this earlier. You really can't, unfortunately. You basically just, it's all about location. So if you want to work outside your city, the best thing you can do is get a really small office in whatever city you want to work in. All right, from Adam Nassif, words or sentences on Google keywords to improve SEO. So I think what you're asking is short tail or long tail keywords. Difference being, so web design would be a short word versus, web, except you're saying sentences. So that'd be like, who's the best web designer near me? Something like that. That can be really long, and you have to just do the research, right? So you have to use something like Ubersuggest is the free one that I would recommend. And then KW Finder is the paid one, which I do like a little better than Ubersuggest, but it's, you have to pay for it. So start with Ubersuggest and just see what people are searching for and the difficulty, because there's never one all-purpose answer. Sometimes a short tail keyword phrase or word, there's not a lot of competition for it. That's hardly the case anymore, but you just got to do the research. No way around that. So, okay, from Nana Albania, what are your top 3 tips for Google ranking? Okay, top 3 tips off the top of my head. You have to good on page, right? So you've got to include your keyword phrase in your H1, ideally, in your H2 tag, several times in your body copy, and you want to also use related phrases too. So, Google's gotten much better at not just latching on to a keyword and using it over and over again in keyword stuffing. So they've gotten pretty good at knowing what topic your page is about. So do that. Do the other thing that I touched on earlier, which is having the right mix of content on your website. Your pillar posts, your keyword posts that feed into it and is all linked to each other, and then question posts, which are basically answering a frequently asked question about your industry. Like for me, that would be something like what's better, Elementor or Elementor Pro? Or is Elementor Pro worth it? Those kinds of things where you can show up in the snippets. So that's number 2. Number 3, backlinks. You still got to get backlinks. Everyone wants to talk all day long about on-page stuff as if the off-page stuff doesn't matter anymore. And we're getting away from it a little bit. Google is starting to find other ways, but it still is important. So, and bonus tip, make sure that your listing, when you do a Google search, you've got the search engine results there. You can pick between all the different things that are popping up there. Make sure yours is the best written one. The headline is enticing. The description has a few benefits. So what you want to do is, even if you're number 10 in the rankings, you want to attract more clicks than you should at number 10, because your listing is better than the one at number 5. And you do that enough people start clicking, you're going to start moving your way up. So bonus tip for you. That was 4. All right. From Roger Matthews. Do you have ways to monetize a podcast? Just started one. Don't know if I'll ever make money on it. So yeah, you can definitely monetize a podcast. I like to use, so the one down here, I keep pointing the wrong direction. My new podcast, it's not monetized with ads, but what I do is I mention my masterclass in it. I mention my paid program in it. So it's brought to you by me. And the things, so I'm teaching you something for free, but then if you want to go deeper, now you can do something that costs money that helps you go deeper and get you even better results. That's the best way, I think, assuming you have a product like that. If you don't, if it's more entertainment based or something like that, you can certainly get ads. But what I'd recommend is getting started without ads. Like, get at least 10 episodes out that are ad free. Then you can start approaching, advertisers, or even just do affiliate things. So there's, think of all the podcasts you listen to that talk about Squarespace or Audible. These are like HelloFresh. These are just podcast advertising staples, to where I think you just sign up as an affiliate, and then whenever anyone uses your promo code, you get a kickback from that. So that's what I would start doing. But let people get hooked on your podcast ad-free first. And then the more listeners you get, the more you can start to charge, because you're now an influencer and you can make those brand deals. So, but I think the best way, my favorite way, is to advertise your own stuff. That's going to be much more fruitful than, shilling for Audible and getting, $2 a month from that. So, all right. Anyway, the next one is from Mel Mags. Hold on, where are we at on time? We're about, we've gone about an hour now, so we'll go a little bit longer until my camera runs out. So pop in your last minute questions here, and we'll get to as many as we can. All right, from Mel Mag says, hello from Manila, Philippines. Hello. I'm new in using Facebook ads. I know it's too long of a topic, but you can at least give me the top 3 tips to take note with respect to targeting my audience. Yes, I can. I love this question. All right, so top 3 tips of targeting. First of all, lookalike audiences. I love lookalike audiences the best. So if you have any kind of an email list, if but it's got to be a big enough list though. I like to see it to be over 1,000 people. You use a lookalike audience to target them. It basically feeds in all these email addresses, and then it tells Facebook to find out what all these people have in common, right? Because they have so many data points on all these people. That's some people find it creepy. I think it's exciting. I think it's a great opportunity to get our message in front of people. So they figure out what they have in common, and then they find a bunch more people that have the same thing in common. So, but you have to have a list to start with from there. So if you don't have a list, what I'd recommend is putting out a level 1 ad, which is, again, it's a video ad talking about your topic. Again, giving the top tip, the top 3 tips, and the headline basically, hold on here. Let me get rid of this. Okay, cool. All right. So you definitely want to use that headline to draw people in. So let's say your topic is about, I don't know, I am drawing a dog training or something. So you're trying to attract people that be interested in your dog training product. You do a video about, are you making this mistake when training your dog? Anyone who watches that for a certain amount of time is inherently interested in that topic. So then you retarget those people and you make a custom audience from those people. Let's see, a number 3 would just be basically to figure out, look at the people in your space that are already getting traffic. So the dog training example, again, who do people follow for dog training? Like Cesar Millan, the dog whisperer, right? So follow or target people who have expressed a like or an interest in Cesar Millan, and then see where you go from there. So those are my top 3 picks for you. All right. From Filtration Energy Solutions, what's the best way to start a podcast? Best way to start a podcast is just to figure out your hook, first of all, because there's a lot of podcasts out there. There's plenty of room for more, but you need to figure out what's going to make yours unique. Who's listening to it, and how are these people going to turn into customers maybe? So come up with your angle, and then the best actual meat and potatoes tip I can give you is launch with no less than 5 episodes, okay? Some people say 3. I like more because you want to launch with enough to get people hooked. Because if you launch with 1, they'll listen to it and then they'll think like, okay, nothing more for me, and then you're quickly forgotten. If you have 5, they can do a little mini binge, and now they're waiting for the next episode, right? The other tip I'll give you is I love Spotify ads to advertise a podcast. They're great. They're so cheap, and you're getting people who you can target people who already are known to listen to podcasts. So you target people that way. You can get people to listen to your ad for about 1 to 2 cents per listen, and it's a great way to get out of the gate running right there. So that's what I would do. So good luck with that. Podcasts are a great opportunity for sure. All right. From Nana, should I use British keywords or American? I find that as someone from England, she says gotta crack my neck. Her target audience is in the UK. I sometimes get the American spelling in autocorrect. For example, if I write organization with an S, I get no results in Google Trends. But if I write organization in Pinterest, people come. I'm afraid if I get the wrong target audience. Okay. I kind of get what you're saying, Nana, but I would say if your target audience is in the UK, then you should be targeting people who would be spelling it the way you'd be spelling it. So if you don't have any, if you can't work with people in the US, or if for some reason people just are more likely to buy if they're in the UK, they connect with you better, you got to go with your spelling. I would definitely do it that way. But if you're going to go for all purpose, then maybe go for American if you know, because I've only been to the UK once. I'm wondering if in the UK, do they forgive the American spelling or do they look down on it? What's the feeling there? If there's one that's kind of all purpose, then maybe go for that if you want to work with both countries equally. All right. From Anna Malova, which objectives are the best for targeting cold audiences? I assume you mean for Facebook. So for targeting cold audiences, well, objective is different than targeting. So I'm not really quite sure of the question. But for cold audiences, I like to, again, I've said this several times on this podcast or on this video already, but I like to do a video ad that basically solves a problem, 3 tips or whatever, and I run that as a video views objective. That's for the cold audience. Then I follow that up with, more of an ad to download my lead magnet, which would be a conversions objective. Unless, here's the caveat, if that audience becomes too small, like if you have a very limited budget and you're not getting enough people from that video objective ad into the next ad, then you want to maybe switch from a conversions objective into just reach. At that point, if you have very few people in there, you want to do a reach ad just to get in front of as many people as possible. So, all right. Cool. So other questions? Okay. So it looks like we are done with most of the questions, except for it looks like we have a few here that are more marked to get to toward the end. So I'll just answer these questions now. And in the meantime, if you have a question, pop it in the chat and I will get to it in just a second. Okay. From Toy, can your website development program work for e-commerce? I've been burned with my website. So what Toy is referring to is my paid program, which is called the Profitable Website Launchpad, where I teach people how to go from 0 to all the way through a profitable client-generating website on the other side. So will it work for e-commerce? Yes and no. There are certain elements that I think you'll find useful, but keep in mind, I'm not going to touch on anything e-commerce in there. So I'll help you get the messaging for what problem you solve and the customer saga journey and all that stuff. And then how to use Elementor and Elementor Pro to build out some of your pages, which will give you a good basis, but I'm not going to show you how to develop your product pages. I'm not going to teach you how to write product descriptions. So it's really up to you if you want to do that. And it does come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So feel free to try it. And if it's not for you, you can always request a refund. So wouldn't hurt to try, I guess, but it's really meant for service-based businesses, just to let you know. Okay. Let's see. Are we still live? I hope we're still live here. Okay. Can you... Okay. I think that is it. I don't think I have any more questions here. Let me see. Let me just go through. Let me just go to the end. And Toy says, thanks a million, West. You're very welcome. Hopefully that helped you decide one way or the other there. Do I have a Discord? No, I don't even know what that is. I've been hearing that on podcasts lately. I assume it's like a Slack channel, but I don't have it, whatever it is. Okay. Oh, from Daniel, not sure if this was asked already. When designing your websites, do you typically work with a mock-up or wireframe first? I want to convince my boss that it's a good idea. Yeah, so what I usually do, Daniel, to be honest with you, and I've kind of got out of actually designing client websites right now, but I still do a fair amount of stuff, just even if it's for myself. I do a really rough wireframe mock-up. Like I have a notepad, and I just kind of box it all out, what's going to be there, just to know a really rough draft version. But I would definitely do some version of that. Don't just go right to the design with nothing written down. It can be super rough. It depends on how you like to work. Like what information do you need in order to do it? So for what that's worth. Let's see. I think that might be it. Do we have any more, Floyden? Do we have any more questions in here? If not, I guess we'll just call it a day. We've gone over an hour here. Oh, we got one more here. Oh, we got two more here. All right. Okay, from Chad Cox. Do you recommend hiring someone to generate content for you if you're too busy? This is such a good question. And what's the most important type of content for lead gen? Okay. So I so recommend a content marketing strategy. Where I've gone wrong and where I see a lot of people go wrong is trying to outsource the content, to be honest with you. So, can you hire someone to do it for you? Yes, but you're going to have to pay someone to do good content quite a bit, because what you're going to find when you try to outsource these things is you're going to get people who research the topic and regurgitate it. That is not a good experience. Think about when you read a blog post from like Neil Patel or from like Backlinko or someone who like they know their stuff, right? That you can tell that article reads so much better and you feel like you're getting something out of it versus all the content I've seen from places where it's literally just they basically just say, what is a sales funnel? This is the definition of a sales funnel. And it just feels like such a mechanical version of it. So all that to say, that's something I recommend you do yourself if you're the expert. That's something because what they say when running a business is do the thing, concentrate on the things that only you can do and outsource the other stuff. That is the stuff only you can do, I would say. And if you can find someone else that can do it in your organization, great. But don't just hire a service to write it for you, because it's never going to connect. And I've seen it go wrong way too many times. So, and then the other part of this was, what's the most important type of content for lead gen? Most important type of content. Most important type, I don't know about that, but the best type is video or podcast. It connects so much better than a blog ever can, because they can see you. They can get the body language. They can see the eye contact. Not in a podcast, of course, but think about when you listen to a podcast and you've listened to it for a while, you feel like you kind of know that person, right? So that's why I highly recommend doing that. But blog posts are good too. If you're not gonna do a podcast or you're not gonna do video, it's the third best thing. So, all right. And then we have from Ernest Florentino, can you use Instagram pictures as a hero page image? You mean your own Instagram picture, Ernest? I mean, I wouldn't use someone else's, but can you use your own? Let's see. You can, but it might have been compressed. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've ever used like an Instagram picture and tried to blow it up. You don't want it to be grainy or blurry. So make sure it's like 1900 pixels wide. If you can blow it up right in it, because an Instagram picture is usually square too, or now they're a little bit vertical. And for a hero, they're more horizontal. So make sure it fits and make sure it's not blurry. That's really my only prerequisites there. So, and it has to tell a good story too. It has to like show your customer's journey, not yourself as the business, right? So make sure of that. All right. And then McDonald says, can you discuss a little about LSI keywords? So yeah, quickly, LSI keywords, it's otherwise known as latent semantic indexing. Sounds really complicated. All this really means is they're related words. So if you're a family attorney, what are related keywords? Arbitration, divorce, custody. So whatever your overall topic is, you need to include those words. Sprinkle them on your page so that Google knows that you're covering that topic really well, because Google has I've said this before, they've gotten good at knowing the overall topic of a page. So you don't need to keyword stuff anymore, but you want to sprinkle those words in so they know that you're covering your topic in a very complete way. So that's what they are. There's not really like Google's not really like, there's no algorithm for LSI keywords. It's just they know the words that should be on a good page on a topic and they kind of look for them. That's it. So anyway, guys, that is it. I think we're going to close off the questions at this point. But other than that, so if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and listen to my podcast. It's got really good episodes coming up, and I would love it if you would write a review for it. That would mean the world to me. That means and that lets me hear from you guys. Let me know what episodes you like, what you like about it, what you might want to like to hear me talk about more in future episodes. So that would be great, and helps it get found by other people as well. So anyway, guys, this has been great. I love our time together on these live videos, and I can't wait to do it again. So my plan is to do this type like every 2 months, and then every other month do a website review video. So I'm thinking for our next one of those, I think I want to switch it up a little bit. Like nothing's in stone yet, but I think I want to do one where I'm basically just critiquing your hero sections at the top of your home pages to see if I get in an instant what it is you do, because that's so important. So just be kind of like, does Wes get it? Would be the point of it. So yeah, I'll send out a call for action to that later. Let you guys know when that episode's going to be. It'll be another live one. So anyway, guys, hope you're all doing great. Hope your businesses are it's some thriving. I know it's still a weird time out there, so hopefully you're doing great, and can't wait to do this again with you all very soon. All right, have a great week, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.